Hey guys, it's Dave again from GuitarBreakdown.com, and today I'm going to talk about an Allen Hinds lick. If you click the link below, it'll bring you to a video where he's doing a clinic. I'm not really sure where the clinic is, but I think it's between 40 and 50 seconds into it. It's right at the beginning. He does this little legato lick, and he's actually showing his picking technique, which is it's really light. I mean, he's barely, and if you watch the video, he's barely touching the strings. And he picks very infrequently at times because he's doing so much legato. His legato is really smooth, and it seems like he really has that thing where he's actually hammering on every note, which is a great practice if you're watching, if you're just watching TV or something. Great thing to do is just sit around and literally. But and you really work on that strength, especially that first finger, because a lot of times you don't actually hammer on that. A lot of time that's the point of picking the next string. But anyway, so the lick basically is in B minor. It's kind of over a B minor chord, and he starts out essentially in that B minor pentatonic area. He starts throwing in a few little nifty notes, and then he switches to B major pentatonic. So the beginning of the lick starts out with your fourth finger. This is all on the B string right now. Fourth finger's on the 10th fret, first finger's on the 7th, and second finger's on the 8th. So it starts out. He actually starts out with just a pull off from the 10th to the 7th. Then he does it again. 10, pull off to the 7, hammer on to the 8th, hammer on to the 10. And now you go to the E string with your first finger on the 7th fret. And I think he actually picks that note. So it sounds like this. Then the next part, he does a little turnaround with some of those notes. Instead of playing, again, if you're thinking of this as the pentatonic scale, and that the beginning is, with the exception of that note on the 8th fret, which is the minor 6th, with the exception of that note, it's all pentatonic. Now what he does is he actually, the second part of that, and if you think of this, break it up into a few different sections. The first section being, then the second, and there's a pause between all these. It's like an 8th note kind of pause. The second section is the same thing. You pull off from the 10th fret to the 7th fret, but instead of hammering on the 6th fret, you hammer on the 7th fret. So then you go to the E, and that was all on the B string. Now on the E string, you play the 8th fret and pull off to the 7th fret. So that goes. And then you go back down to the B string and play the 9th fret and pull off to the 8th fret. So that whole thing, the first section is, and the second section is, and again, there's another little 8th note pause there. And actually, at the speed he's playing it, it's probably 16th note pause. Now the next section, he basically, again, goes outside of that pentatonic scale a little bit, and well, actually that second section, what he's doing, he raises that minor 6 to a major 6, and then he plays the flat 9 and goes back to the root. So that's where he's getting that kind of jazzy, chromatic outside sound. So then the next section, he starts with the first finger on the 7th fret of the B string. And again, he goes, if he was going to play that pentatonic shape, he'd go to the 10th fret. But he goes outside that and hits a half step above that note, which is the 11th fret, and slides down to the 10th fret. So it's, and then pulls back off to the 7th fret. So it's, first section is, second section, and the third section is, and then he rolls down to the G string on the 7th fret, hammers on to the 9th fret, and then plays that 7th fret of the B string. So that is again, the three sections together. Then again, there's another 16th note pause, or he might be hitting this 9th fret again. It's hard to tell. But then he goes down to the 5th fret on the B string. So plays that 5th fret. So again, the whole thing is. Now this is where he's shifting down to the. You could think of all that as minor pentatonic. And then actually this very next section, that little pull off there could be minor pentatonic too, but then he goes into the major pentatonic. So